So hello, Jim. Hello, welcome
Hi,
back. So we're
how are
talking
you?
about, yeah, hello. So we're talking about AI today. Okay, what a small topic to touch. Okay, what a very simple subject to
Yeah,
cover in time we have, right?
yeah.
So let's take a little bit of structured approach here. Otherwise, we will be in the sea of knowledge and wisdom. Okay. How about we start with what are your views on 2020, on the trends we will uncover, okay, and trends that are already there but will continue to flourish in front of us, okay? This is your opening segment here, Jim. Take it away.
Okay, well, yeah, as you know, everybody's bombarding you with AI and from scary stories that DARPA is going to send some mosquito in your house and spy on you and send a weapon if you don't align properly with DARPA's politics, to, hey, this stuff is really usable. It helps people, it helps businesses. It helps business in particularly automation initially. And then eventually customer service. And we're going to see that in 2020, we're going to see that being upped. So the companies that have focused on some AI projects are saying, how can we help the automation effort? And they've been very successful at that. I have 5 documented case studies on my Forbes blogs. I tried to echo them in my own blog so we can spread the knowledge of what AI is doing. And eventually I'll have to say what AI isn't doing, because there's a lot of creepy stories out there. There's a lot of fear mongering, which I view as positioning by the vendors because they haven't figured it out yet. So let's stall people. And you can't stall business people. Business keeps marching on, and it better automate, and it better deal with people better. And that includes customers and employees. And we're seeing a shift in 2020 for those companies that invested in automation, AI and automation. They're going to double down that bet. I'm seeing that already. And the next thing they're thinking about is how can we get my employees and my customers a better service? We have NLP, we have digital assistants, we have all those things that are trying to help, and we're seeing the start of that. So there's a huge shift in AI just for experimentation to AI for results. And it's not just the accountants' results. I love accountants. I was one at one time, but that's not the only thing. We have to help people as well. So I think we're going to see that shift in 2020. I looked at, AI trends because I have an AI background. I hate to admit that I've been around this long, but back in the 80s, I did a lot of Lisp hacking and worked on a number of AI projects. And that was, that particular phase ended up being an AI winter because it was just too complicated. And I think we're going to avoid an AI winter here. There have been 2 of them so far. We're trying to avoid that third one. And I think business is taking a real pragmatic approach to avoid that AI winter because people are having success as they experiment with AI, particularly when it comes to linking it with data. So I looked at a lot of trends and I picked 10 that appealed to me that I thought were things, people could build on. And I've seen case studies in most of these areas, one way or another. So these are my top 10. I think if you talk to somebody else, there might be more. I saw somebody document the top 100 on Forbes. I'm going like, focus like that's way too many on what they're doing.
Yeah, we can drill down, right? And under each will be more. That's absolutely Russian doll kind of conversation we'll be having. But for the sake of sanity of our listeners and viewers, all right. So let's kind of see where we are because we've heard about data. Okay, for how many years now? I mean, it's been I remember 7 years. It was all about data, right? From all the way analytical abilities, from pattern recognition to now machine learning, AI. right? Data from existing sources, from new sources, okay? So can you please touch on how this will be a little bit the same and a little bit different in 2020? Because we're talking about what, new data and old data, legacy data.
Yeah.
How will
Yeah,
this all converge? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the projects are data driven, the initial ones, because that's what machine learning uses. Machine learning is involved with a lot of the newer projects. And so data has some of the same old problems and it has some new problems. Well, let's talk about the old problems. Data needs to be cleaned up, it needs to be perfected, it needs to be accessible, and it needs to be linked. So in the old days, data was very focused and unlinked. So the idea of linking things together from a concept perspective just was not thought of back then, but the data was dirty. So today, data still is dirty, but now there's more of it and it's linked differently and it's faster. So data is not only big data, it's fast data and it's dark data. So that's data that hasn't been looked at. And so there's a lot of issues around getting the dirty data fixed, and that will continue. As people discover, how do I make my machine learning and my AI more significant, the data will get cleaned up. But there's another thing, is that as we move beyond machine learning and we getting into decisioning, you're going to see that AI is going to point to new data sources. I worked on a project for an insurance company where we were doing an underwriter workbench. And part of underwriting was, and part of what we were trying to do, because it was a company that believed technology could leverage things so that they could push the cost model down, like all insurance companies want to do. And they wanted to push some complex decisions from doctors down to frontline underwriters, lower level junior underwriters. And because they did that, they found out that they needed more data. The doctors had a lot in their mind and they knew where to go. And so as we did decision prototypes in an older version of AI, which was a list-based approach, we found out that we needed to get more data. So not only is data dirty, there's going to be more dirty data, and it's going to be coming at you faster than you can deal with. And so organizations that just accumulate data, dirty or clean, and hope that AI is going to sort it out for you, I think that's kind of the wrong attitude. You need to start with what things are important and go after them. So I also worked on another one for a large credit card company, and they wanted to make sure that they could figure out if the transactions that were coming in were legitimate or not. Is somebody using somebody's card for a taxi cab in Japan when they happen to be in New York City right now? Those kinds of things. And so as they move into decisioning, there'll be more data that's necessary. And so going out and getting more data is part of this AI game, as well as cleaning it up. And the speed that it's going to come at you is much different. We're going to have to sense patterns and respond quickly. And so the data question isn't as simple as cleaning up what we have. It's acquiring what we need based on kind of a goal-driven or decision-driven perspective.